Hi everyone, welcome to unit number 2. Today we're going to be talking about the presidency of Democrat Bill Clinton. And yes, that is the husband of Hillary Clinton, who herself ran for president in 2016 against Donald Trump. So let's start by writing down our essential question. How did Clinton respond to the problems facing our country? Remember, pause or rewind this video if you need, and turn on those captions if it helps you out. So in this video, we're going to learn about how a divided government can actually impact what a president is able to get done. And we'll also look at the major successes and the failures that Clinton had, except for his biggest failure. We're going to spend all of next lesson looking at that scandal. So what does it mean when our government is divided? Well, divided government means that one party controls the presidency while the opposite party controls Congress. Now, before I get into this, I know you have probably learned about the 3 branches of government from your previous history classes. But hey, I know you've slept since then. Some of y'all might not have gotten this, so humor me for a minute while I review. So in this country, our federal government is split into 3 categories or branches. The legislative branch, they make our laws. This is a group of people known as Congress. It includes 100 senators. 2 are allowed from each state, and currently 435 members of the House of Representatives. Now, that number is based on population, so that number could change in the future. If you've ever heard people on social media make a post to call your senator or to write your representative, that's because those are the people that can actually create our laws. Now, our president controls the executive branch. It's their job to enforce the law. And the judicial branch refers to our courts. These are the people that interpret the laws. In this class, we'll focus mostly on the Supreme Court. Those are the 9 justices. I know I've mentioned that in previous videos. And they interpret those laws that affect everybody in the country. So when I say that our government is divided during Clinton's presidency, this is what I mean. So Clinton's a Democrat, and he controls the executive branch. He is the president. But look at this data on Congress. For both the House of Representatives and the Senate, the majority are Republicans. The majority of the circle are red. And so Republicans are in control of the legislative branch. And the reason this matters is because when these 2 branches are controlled by opposite parties, it really forces compromise. If the Democrats just controlled the House and the Senate, if all 3 of those circles were majority blue, well, Clinton could just do whatever he wanted because his party is going to support him and back him up. Usually when our government is divided, change is very, very slow to occur. All right, so with that, let's move on to some of the successes Clinton had during his 8 years as president, and they both have to do with the economy. Clinton's huge success was a trade agreement known as NAFTA, and that stands for the North Atlantic Free Trade Agreement. It was the North American Free Trade Agreement. Gotta get that acronym right. This was an agreement between the US, Mexico, and Canada, and it was a decision that trade between our countries would not have any fees applied. So this is great for small business because it reduces the cost of running your business. If, say, you run a small business in the United States, you want to trade with Mexico, you don't have to pay that additional fee that we usually have to pay when trading with other countries. Clinton also led the country into what's probably its best ever economic period in our history. So thanks to all of the money created from the tech boom, which we'll dive into at the end of this unit, and the ability for most Americans to find jobs, our national budget was actually balanced during this time period. And that is a huge deal, especially for a country of our size. For our budget to be balanced, that means what our government spends on things like education and roads is equal to what it brings in with taxes. And it usually never lines up, and the US is often in debt. not for the big failures. So while Clinton was running for president, his huge campaign promise was to fix health care. Even in the 90s, many Americans could not afford insurance. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get his bill passed through Congress. Remember what I said about divided government slowing everything down and forcing compromise? Well, he just didn't have enough support in Congress to make it happen. He also supported a bill which became quite controversial. In fact, he has stated more recently that it is his biggest regret as president. That bill is the 1994 crime bill. This created what's known as the Three Strikes Law, which requires our courts to sentence a person to life in prison if they committed a felony plus 2 other crimes, right? 3 strikes and you're out. This led to a huge spike in the prison population, which we would call mass incarceration. And this disproportionately affected people of color and mostly young Black men. This continues to affect us today, and we'll be spending most of class time diving into this issue more fully. So next time, we're going to continue talking about Bill Clinton, and we'll be focusing on that major scandal I hinted about, which almost destroyed his presidency. Until next time, folks, it's going to get a little spicy.